Welcome to Zero to Hero, the series where we teach you how to teach yourself how to play Pokemon VGC, from the basics to the complex. Today's topic is weather and terrain. Weather and terrain are like field effects. There's 4 of each, and they affect all Pokemon on the field. Only one weather and one terrain can be active at any given time. If it's raining and then sunny day is used, the rain will be removed. Same works with terrain, but weather and terrain do not interact with each other. First up is weather. The 4 weather effects are rain, sun, sand, and snow. These can be summoned to the field by using moves like Sunny Day, Rain Dance, Sandstorm, or Snowscape. Alternatively, the abilities Drizzle, Drought, Sandstream, and Snow Warning summon them when the Pokemon with that ability switches in. No matter how the weather is summoned, it will last for 5 turns. There are items that increase the duration from 5 turns to 8 turns, but since VGC games are so fast, these items are pretty uncommon. There's multiple things on a turn. For instance, a Pokemon switching in with Drizzle and a Pokemon switching in with Drought. The faster ability will activate first, so for instance, Drizzle activates first, and then the slower ability will activate, Drought activating. This essentially means that the slower weather setter will get their weather up if they're switched in at the same time. We'll go through each weather to explain their effects. Rain will increase the damage from all water moves by 50% and reduce the damage from fire moves by 50%. It also increases the accuracy of specific moves. Thunder, Hurricane, Bleak Wind Storm, Sand Seer Storm, and Wild Bolt Storm are not only boosted to 100% accuracy, but they completely bypass accuracy checks. These moves will always hit in the rain. It also activates the abilities Swift Swim, Dry Skin, Rain Dish, Hydration, and Forecast. Other moves like Electro Shot charge in 1 turn, Solar Beam and Solar Blade have their power halved, and the weather-based recovery moves Synthesis, Moonlight, and Morning Sun will recover 25% instead of 50%, and Weather Ball becomes a 100 base power water move. Sun is opposite to Rain in many ways. It increases fire moves by 50% and reduces water moves by 50%. The moves Solar Beam and Solar Blade charge in 1 turn instead of 2, and the moves Thunder and Hurricane have their accuracy reduced to 50%. It activates the abilities Chlorophyll, Dry Skin, Flower Gift, Forecast, Harvest, Leaf Guard, Solar Power, Photosynthesis, and Aurichalon Pulse. The aforementioned recovery moves will restore 2/3 or 66.6% instead of 50%. Weather Ball becomes a 100 base power fire move. Hydro Steam will have its power increased by 50% like fire moves despite it being a water move. Pokemon can also not be frozen in the sun. Sandstorm works differently than Rain and Sun. It doesn't increase or decrease any move's damage, but Rock-type Pokemon have their special defense increased by 50%. At the end of each turn, all Pokemon that are not Rock, Steel, or Ground type will be chipped away and lose 1/16 of their max HP. It activates the abilities Sand Force, Sand Rush, and Sand Veil. Similar to Rain, the moves Solar Beam and Solar Blade have their power reduced, and the aforementioned recovery moves restore 25%. Snow was changed in Generation 9. Currently, it increases the defense of Ice Pokemon by 50%. It has the power of Solar Beam and Solar Blade, as well as reduces the recovery moves. It activates the abilities Ice Body, Snow Cloak, and Slush Rush. Similar to Thunder and Hurricane, Blizzard has its accuracy buffed, and it bypasses accuracy checks in the snow. The move Aura Veil can also be used, and it can only be used in the snow. The abilities Cloud9 and Airlock will stop all effects from active weathers, but it doesn't remove them, and these only take effect while that Pokemon is on the field. 4 terrains, Grassy, Electric, Psychic, and Misty, affect the whole battlefield like weather. They're summoned the same way by using a move that shares their name, or having a Pokemon that switches in with one of the abilities Grassy Surge, Electric Surge, Psychic Surge, or Misty Surge. They also last 5 turns, or 8 turns if the Pokemon is holding the item Terrain Extender. Since terrains are on the ground, Flying-type Pokemon, Pokemon with the ability Levitate, or any other effect that makes them not grounded, are not affected by terrain effects. The moves Defog, Ice Spinner, and Steel Roller will remove any active terrain. Grassy terrain increases the power of grass moves by 30%. At the end of each turn, grounded Pokemon recover 1/16 of their max HP. The ability Grassy Pelt is activated, and the item Grassy Seed will be consumed, and Seed Sower can also set the Grassy terrain. The base power of the moves Bulldoze, Earthquake, and Magnitude are halved. The move Nature Power becomes Energy Ball, Grassy Glide has its priority increased by 1, and Terrain Pulse becomes a 100 base power grass move. Electric Terrain increases the power of electric moves by 30%. Grounded Pokemon cannot fall asleep, so moves like Spore and Yawn will fail. It activates the abilities Surge Surfer, Quark Drive, and Hadron Engine. The item Electric Seed will be consumed. Nature Power becomes Thunderbolt. Rising Voltage's base power becomes 140, and Terrain Pulse becomes a 100 base power electric move. Psychic Terrain increases the power of psychic moves by 30%. Grounded Pokemon are immune to the opponent's moves with increased priority, and it activates the item Psychic Seed. The move Expanding Force has its base power increased by 50%, and it becomes a spread move. The move Nature Power becomes Psychic, and Terrain Pulse becomes a 100 base power Psychic move. Lastly, Misty Terrain does not increase any damage, but it rather reduces the damage of dragon moves by 50%. Grounded Pokemon are immune to all status conditions, and it activates the item Misty Seed. Nature Power becomes Moonblast, and Terrain Pulse becomes a 100 base power Fairy move. And that's pretty much it for weather and terrains. Rain and Sun are common archetypes seen in VGC, and you can often build a whole team around them, whereas terrains are usually less centralizing since there's far less abilities that synergize with them. But they can still pull off powerful combos like using Expanding Force or shutting down your opponent's priority moves. Thanks for watching.